Yo. Yes, yes. Welcome to the Respect for the Great podcast. I am your host, Johnny Reed. Today is a wonderful episode. Today's Christmas Eve. There's so many wonderful things that's going on out there in real time. People are out there shopping, getting ready for the holidays. I feel like I would be remiss. I would blah. I would be remiss if I didn't come on today. Although we normally go live on our Thursdays, but we're doing it a little bit early. We're going on Christmas Eve because we have to show up. My niece is in the building. What's up, Jada? I love you. Um, can't wait to see you tomorrow. So you open up your gifts. Beautiful thing. Um, and congratulations to my niece getting busy out there in wrestling. She had a couple of matches the other day. She was kicking butt. I'm so proud of you. I'm happy. I love you. And I just want you to continuously go out there and strive and keep challenging yourself every day. I'm super proud of you. And I was watching all the film and I was watching you just do your thing. And you're super tough. You're super strong. You mentally. You're beautiful. There's a lot of things I want to compliment you on, but understand that Uncle Johnny loves you unconditionally, and I'm super proud of you. That's that. Um, Today is going to be so. Today's is dope. Today's really freelance, really relaxed. I also would love to say, rest in power, Mama Boo Boo. Um, we just sent her off. Uh, Nothing but unlimited love and respect for Mama Boo Boo. Also, I want to say rest in power to my uncle Enoch. How ironic is this? Just Thanksgiving, we was kicking it and we were talking about all of those memories and times we had, and I mentioned them. And then here it is. We had sent him off. We're going to send him off. He had just passed. And now we're talking about him resting in power. And that's one of the things about life. You never really know what tomorrow may bring. So every day we have to be very appreciative and give nothing but thanks to the Most High and live today as if it's your last. You know, we want to prepare for the future, which I think there's nothing wrong with that. I think when you think about generational things, you think about our children, we think about what we want to lead and leave behind for our future. I think it's a thing that we always keep constantly preparing, right? But I also want us to live in the moment as well. Although we are preparing for tomorrow and for our future, for our loved ones, but live as if today is your last. Make sure that when you go to bed at night, you ask yourself, well, did I do everything that I intended to do today? I brought this up a little while back about Kevin O'Leary when he was talking about Steve Jobs, and he says that he has 3 to 5 things that he has to get done every day. And I learned and I listened to that, and I said, you know what? There going to be some things in my life that I'm going to prioritize in every day, no matter what. And some of the things that I do is give prayer to the Most High. I make sure I do, a variation of other things, but primarily find out what it is that if tomorrow were to come and you were not going to be here for whatever reason, have you connected all of those dots today to make sure that you went out with a bang? So that's what I first want to highlight some of those things. On the up and upside, big shout out to my cousin Amanda. I love you unconditionally. You had a birthday over the weekend. I want to give you nothing but flowers and love. You know, I love you unconditionally. Your boy was under the weather, pretty sick. Didn't want to afford to get anybody else sick. 'Cause you know me, your boy, my immune system got to build that back up. But ultimately, we converse, we build, and she knows I was always there in spirit. So that's another beautiful thing. Rock, what's up, level one? Ellie, Lizzie, what's up, level one? We have some great, wonderful loved ones in the building tonight. Rock, how was your Christmas going, man? Have you got everything out of the way? Lizzie, how is your Christmas going? Is everything pretty much completed? Today's Christmas Eve. You know, a lot of people celebrate Christmas today, and others uh celebrate it tomorrow. So I just want to know, have you guys, completed the task of going out there and, doing your thing when it came to this holiday? Because we know there's a lot going on. We can always talk about, if I had one more this Had to get this last thing, last minute runarounds. I was just came from the stores myself because I'm a last minute guy at times. Be fully transparent. And I move around these stores and I see so many people, everybody zooming here, there. So it's a lot going on. But overall, I hope everybody out there is in good spirits, under the conditions. I know there are a lot of things that's going on in the world, but if you could take a moment out for self and recognize and say, you know what, I am blessed today because I have air in my lungs. I am breathing, although there may be some different intricacies that make you feel uneasy, at times, but that's okay. Park, what's up, loved one? Shout out my boy Park as well. We just re-released, we surged one of the videos that we have kicked off years ago around the holiday time. Great video. Go check that out on YouTube. Holiday Spirit. We were in the building. That thing is continuously moving. It reminds me of the Mariah Carey John around the holiday times where it's just a resurgence. You put that video out, it's nothing but good and great spirits. So that's one of the things that I'm always looking forward to when it comes to the holiday season. Trini, what's up, loved one? Oldest to God. Trini for life. What's up, Fanny? um there's so many things that we can just be, in the spirit, and that's one thing that gets us in the mood at the right time. That video in itself. Lizzie says, feeling great, having my little family here is more than enough. Waiting till midnight so our little one can open his gifts to see him smile. It's all about those big smiles, right? Everybody have those big smiles on their faces, etc., etc. Beautiful thing, man. I mean, what else is there to be said? There's a lot going on around these holiday seasons, and I just want to know where your spirit is at, because it could be some conflicting. I understand when there are a plethora of emotions that's running rampant. I get that. And if you could take time to be a little bit centered and take those big deep breaths and just think for a little bit, clear the mind a little bit. I think all of those things can help and make this holiday go past with a little bit more ease, because we never know what nobody else is going through. So I always try to approach life from a perspective of it being more and more on the high rather than the low, being really optimistic, not being really pessimistic. Hope and I says hope you and the family have a blessed and safe holidays, bro. You too as well. Yo, listen, we didn't finish. Last time we was building, we was talking about the cook off and all those seasonings, all that curry, like good things you do in the kitchen. We got to bring you up here one day so you get a display, let people know what you really do in that kitchen, loved one. Um, it's a wonderful thing when we be able to converse and just talk about some of the experiences that we have day in and day out, because it gives us more motivation to go out there and succeed at some of the things that we do very, very well. Also looking and seeking the challenges that life just throws at us every day. There's so many things that we go on our path with when it comes to our journey, the things that we are interested in, the paths that we take. Everybody get to where they get to different ways. And I think it's a wonderful thing that we can converse and just build about these things, because I think I think it's cool. I think it's informative. Um I think it's more or less just having a dialogue and having a conversation around um all of these sentiments that we all may have. I think I think we can find beauty in life, and that's one of the things I learned to do, even with myself. Not saying that I was just a cup half empty type individual, because I always, majority of the time when people see me, I always have a smile on my face, because I know that I am blessed no matter what the circumstances are, no matter what the temporary states are in the moment. I just look at myself as a blessed individual. I consider myself to be a blessed individual. 100 Wave King. It's good, God. um I know for self that that's just where I'm at. So I like to exert that, because I think when you show up in any space, people kind of feed off that energy. So if you have that good energy around you, I think it's infectious, and you can actually brighten up someone else's day. I know if I'm going through some things and I see somebody else around me, or I see their spirit and their spirit latches on to me, I know my life and my day start to get a little bit better. So I love to lead with my best intentions. I love to have those interactions when people come in contact with me. I want them to have a pleasurable experience. So this is why I look forward to having these conversations, these dialogues, because I get a chance to decompress. I get a chance to unwind. I get a chance to really speak from a perspective of me being genuinely me and who I am. Lewis, what's up, loved one? Brother Lewis is in the building. Hope the real estate game is treating you lovely and well. And I also would love to have you up here one day whenever your schedule open up after the holidays, etc. I would love to get you up here and offer our community something great for, you know, um, being. I would love to have your presence on our platform because I know you're so informative in the real estate game, and I know you prioritizing generational wealth. And you do so much. I always highlight the awards because it's a testament to who you are and the work that you have been putting in. You have a beautiful family, beautiful wife, your girls. I mean, it's. I just watch you and I'm inspired by you. So whenever the stars align and the schedules open up, I would love to have you up here just so that we can, talk and be able to offer our community some insight on what it is to be in a space of having ownership when it comes to real estate. So, you too, brother. Anytime I'm in. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, Lewis. Big love, loved one. I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm gonna reach out to you. Let the holidays brush over, do what we got to do, and then kick off 2026 and kick it in with a bang. I'm super excited, super pumped. I hope your holiday season is treating you well. I hope the family is well. And I hope you get everything that's on your Christmas list as well. A lot of times we so worried about other people because that's who we are. And genuinely, we love to be, we love to give more than we receive. But I think when it's these seasons, that's like the season that we in right now, I think it's a beautiful thing when we're able to receive as well as much as we give because we offer a lot every day. I know the sacrifices that we all take on. And I'm talking about each and every individual. You show up a lot for a lot of people, for a lot of things. Everybody's committed in their worlds that they come from. And this holiday season, let some of that come to you. That's what I want to do. I want this thing to be reciprocated all around the board. I think it's a give and take when it comes to how much we offer. Let some people offer some things because you deserve it. You're deserving. You deserve these things. Lizzie says, just want to say, anyone who is missing a loved one, try to do what helps me at times. Close your eyes and play and imagine play an image of you and your loved ones laughing and enjoying the moment. Breathe in and out. And remember, one day you will see them again. Man, give me where my chimes at. That feels good. That feels good. Is that the right? Yeah, I think that's the right sentiment behind that right there. If anybody is going through something during this holiday season and you are missing a loved one, what she was referring to is just take a minute, close your eyes, think about those times that you shared with them, those enjoyable moments, and breathe in, breathe out, relax, and just think about that pleasurable experience. I think that is so wonderful. Some during the season we can have heavy hearts, right? I know there are some seasons where it gets a little heavy in my family as well. I know around like Thanksgiving, it's kind of heavy when it comes to some of my loved ones because we lost my uncle pretty much on Thanksgiving, right? So a lot of our family members remember that time, that specific moment when it comes to um, Thanksgiving. Heavy hearts in our family, but we all pick each other's spirits up because we remember the character, we remember the person, we remember their spirit, and we have opportunity just to sit back, think, and say, remember that time when such and such did this, and we were here doing X, Y, and Z, and then the smiles could come. And I think that's one of the things Elizabeth was saying about today and around this holiday season going into the 2026 new year. We have Christmas now, we have New Year's. How about we just bring this in with some warm hearts, something pleasurable, have that spirit of love in the air. Don't put too much on your plate. Don't be over exerted because stress can build because we looking at things from financial standpoints. If you're going through rough financial situations right now, that can weigh heavy on saying, man, I can't go out there and spend money or do this, or I gotta pay bills, etc. We understand that. The thing is that you have an opportunity to share those same You have an opportunity to share with your loved ones, and your presence is more valuable than anything. We know that um the time is infinitely more valuable than money. So although we make this season, a lot around buying gifts and doing this, and a lot of these things, it consists of money, right? Just being fully transparent. But if we don't center this holiday season just around money, and we think about the time that we have, I think we can really enjoy that much more, right? I think that we can be around one another, and we can just say, you know what, I'm blessed today. I'm grateful. I can see smiles on other people's faces. We know that the spirit of giving, loving, all of those things are in the air. And I want us to really harp on that more or less than the other things. Although these things occur, we want to know that we all are human, so we do feel, we are emotional. We are emotional beings, so we go through things. We have our ups and our downs, but it's okay. It's normal. And today, Born Rider, what's up, loved one? Born a Rider, what's good, God? Um, I just want all of us to know that hey, today we can comfort one another. Today's episode can be geared around comforting one another, and I think that whatever's on your mind, you feel free to share. If there's something heavy that you want to expound about, feel free to share. If there's something that you want to, lift up the spirits of others and yourself, put in ethos. We can talk about it. We can converse about it. Your presence is going to be felt. And I think this is why I felt compelled to come on even today. Was talking about, I said, you know what, maybe I can go next week. Because I know tomorrow I got some festive things that I'm going to be indulging in. Going to Mama Love crib, going around the loved ones, going around my family. My cousin Ro coming up, my cousin Junior Marv gonna be at the crib. Brothers, sisters, nieces, nephews. Everybody's gonna be around. So I think for us, tomorrow is where we get to open up the gifts and do those things in exchange. But more or less beyond that, it's the time and space we're going to spend with one another. That's the most important. So I think that's what we're really going to be geared and focused on, is making sure that we join each other's company. I think that is primary. Yeah, so that's pretty much what's on the agenda today. Didn't start at 7 on the dot, but we showed up, fashionable, and fashionable time. Not fashionably late. We're not gonna say that. We here in a fashionable time. So let's think about it. Is there anything that anybody's looking forward to during this holiday season? Is there something that's on your mind? If there's a gift, is there something that you're seeking to do? Is there something that you seeking, or something you put on your own list of your own Christmas list, and say, you know what, I would like to see this season, whatever it may be. Do anybody want to share? I know one of the things that I'm getting really intrigued by is watches. So over the last past, I would say, month or so, um, I've been watching a lot of watch shows, and I've been really intrigued about timepieces, and I'm learning so many new things. I'm excited about it. I think it complements, and it's a representation of who you are as a person. You don't have to have a watch, no matter who you are. You can be, uh, you can have abundance of money. You can have zero sum. You can have. You don't have to be in a space. It doesn't have to be just a financial thing. I'm saying there are things and hobbies that we all are interested in. I'm a person, I'm a music connoisseur, so I love all genres of music. I play country one day, then I play hip hop the next. I play some R&B. I'm all over when it comes to the music. I love fashion. I love clothing. I love to see other individuals how they put pieces together. I love that. I love to look on sites all day to see how creative I can be with my approach when it comes to my brand, which is Respectfully Great right here. Go shop today, respectfullygreat.com. Also, I look for a lot of different inspirations. So what I'm watching, and when I'm looking at these watches now, I'm super inspired. And I have so many things that I take with me. And I'm using them as life lessons. I'm using them as life lessons. So that's something that I got going on for this season. I'm looking forward to um get really into watches. It's going to be a hobby, passion of mine, as well as composing, making music. I was talking to Park earlier, Jay Parker, and I was building with him about some ideas geared around the music to really put myself right back in the space um, to do the music. Hold up, I got a comment from my brother Trini. It says, "Same, bro. Got to smile every day and be happy when you have the right people around you. Everything." My brother Kill. Same. Read it again. Same, bro. Got to smile every day and be happy. When you have the right people around you, everything will fall into place and help each other build something strong. Shout out to my brother Kill. Trini for life. Trini for life. What's up, bro? Again, we was just talking earlier about cooking and everything, but that right there is a powerful, powerful statement. Um, Having the right people around you, very, very pivotal, very, very, very important. I think that's where it starts, being comfortable with who you are, and also keeping surrounding mates around you that share or there to protect, to help, to aid, to comfort, to give direction, to be honest, open, truthful. I think all of those things, transparency, I think that's what other people can offer. Other people presence can offer a plethora of things that can add to us growing to be that next growing to the person that we desire to be, going to those next phases in our lives, going out there and being purposeful people and being purpose driven. I think having the right people around you can add to that. So what my brother Kill is saying is that during this season, having the right people around you, um, and you can build things that are strong. I wholeheartedly agree. Wholeheartedly agree. And I think that's what it's about. I think that's what it's about. I know that's what it's about. I don't think because I know I don't think things. I know things. There's things that I don't know, and there's things that I do know. And I think and I keep saying think, but I know that statement what my brother is talking about. Um, I know that to be true because um I understand. I've been in both sides. I've been in places where I had unfavorable classes of individuals around me to where I'm not faulting them for the decisions that I made, but I know I was heavily influenced by some of the wrong things. And that's just being fully open, honest, and transparent. But I also know that on the flip side of that, I have been in places with other uh, classes of individuals where I was super, super inspired, super, super more in my purpose, and things just seem to fall in line. And I think that is powerful when you understand your surroundings, when you understand the people, when you are when you are open and honest and transparent, when you are able to be yourself, when you're able to stretch yourself, when you're able to go beyond the limits of yourself. I think you can surprise yourself on who you can become. And I think that's one of the things on my journey I'm really, really intrigued by because I haven't I wouldn't say that I ever really doubted myself. Even when there were lows in my life, I never really counted myself out, no matter what the circumstances were. And I think that's a testament because I always had, you know, a good supporting cast when it came when in the midst of me having some of uh not favorable influences around me, I still had a cast of individuals that were heavily influential to me, strong cast of individuals that will push me to always do the right thing. There's some people that always been in my corner, always champion me, never second guessed or doubted me. So I think that's what gave me the incentive to continuously go and push and challenge, even when I was lost at times. And I think that's a beautiful thing when you're able to build, um, like my brother Floody would say, trusted advisors. I've had some trusted advisors around me. Um, I think that's powerful when you're able to build that up, right? When you're able to communicate that with other people. I think you receive that when you are that like when you are like that yourself. When you able to approach things from a non-biased perspective, you say, you know what, hey, let's real be black. Let's be black and white with this perspective. Are you doing the right thing or the wrong thing? Let's not play the middle, right? Let's not have that gray area. Are you doing the right thing or the wrong thing? And we have people around you that can identify and spot those blind spots. When I was talking to Coach Bryn the other day, we were talking about those blind spots. And I think that's very, very key when you have a class of individuals or your trusted advisors around you, when they can pick and find out those blind spots and say, you know what, hey, you may not see what's going on over there because you look a little misguided, right? I've seen this pattern from you before, and I know that it's not really favorable to you. You're gonna end up down a road or end up in a space to where what you doing may be jeopardized, or you may be compromised in what you're doing as well. You may be high risk, low reward type of situation, and you came this far. Why take these steps back unnecessarily? You shouldn't have to go through those um, same repeated processes, knowing that the outcome is not favorable to you. So when you have those trusted advisors around you, they can find those blind spots, and I think that is very, very crucial into how we continuously thrive in society today. No matter what environment we choose to put our places in, we know everything around us, the mind is what shapes that perspective. So if we're not getting the right, or we're not feeding ourselves the right things, with the things that we watch, the things that we eat, the people, our trusted advisors, the things that we choose to indulge in, all of these things have factors. And we know it can swing the pendulum, you know, in a direction to where it's like, whoa, how did I get here? All along, we've been seeing the patterns. And if we have people in our corner that really want us to succeed and be well, we can be pulled by our collar when we doing the wrong thing, and then we can get those hand claps when we doing the right thing. And if you don't receive any of it, we got to build that relationship with oneself. So now you can be that trusted advisor. Um you can be the person living off your own testimony, knowing what is right and wrong, what is right and what is wrong, through the trial and error, the causes and effects, and the patterns that you are acting out and you're behaving. So I think it's a beautiful thing when we able to see ourselves outside of ourselves and say, you know what, hey, am I showing up the best version of myself? Did I do the right thing? Am I morally, does is this morally sound from what I'm doing? Ellie, what's up, sis? Is this morally sound? Am I doing things for the right reasons? Am I showing up for me the best way I can? Do I show up for other people in the same manner? Am I able to champion? Am I able to, create and carve out the path that I want to lead? Am I a trailblazer in the space that I occupy? Am I a trailblazer in my own life? Do I love myself enough? Do I trust myself enough? Do I have the confidence enough? And if I don't have any of these things, how can we build these things up? And I think that is very, very crucial. Lizzie says, what do you do that helps you decide when something is right, or if you did good? I like that. Love that question. Let me read it one more time. What do you do that helps you decide when something is right, or if you did good? I love that question. That is a powerful question. I'm glad you asked me that. Um, what I do quite often, I do self audits. And what is the self audit? I pretty much check in with myself and I recap my days. I go, if today, right? When I come in the house and I unwind and I get in the shower and let the water hit, I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, I said, well, how did my day go? Right. And I'm recapping, right? And I'm playing things back in my mind. And I'm like, well, how did I feel today? So, I'm feeling, how do I feel emotionally? How, so first I'm checking in with my emotions. And I think that's the first thing. Before I start gauging on something helped me or hurt me, I check in with my emotions. Some days are different than others, right? Some days I'm more emotionally stable. Some days I could be a little bit impulsive, right? I could be a little bit edgy. And I gotta ask myself, hey, yo, let the water hit pause. I'm asking my brother. Hold on, hey, yo, my brother, yo, listen. They catch me out there. They catch me out with the pause game. I said, let the water hit. He said, hey, yo, let the water hit. Pause, pause, pause. Hold up. Where the air horn at? No, hold on, no. That's not the one. That's not the one. We gonna do this one. Look at that. Pooh, this one. This is the one we need to put out here. What? ¿Qué? ¿Cómo? No comprende. The wave king. Hey, yo. Yeah. So when I take a shower and I'm bathing, I'm recapping what's going on or what happened or what transpired during the course of my day. He said that's a good one. Absolutely. Um, what I do is I check in with me, right? Doing that self-audit. I say, well, how did my day go? And then once I finish going and I'm finished assessing what's going on with me, I think about those interactions and I think about my decisions throughout the day. Hey, um, when I was in when me and such cross paths, or when I was doing X, Y, and Z exercise, or when I had this type of interaction, or I did this level of work, how did I feel about it initially? Once I figure out my emotions, check in with that, I ask myself, well, did I get out what I desire? Did I get out of what I desired, or what I pushed forward to get? You got me choosing my words, man. This is out of control. I'm trying to avoid the pause. This is out of control. I'm sitting there. Unbelievable. See how the psyche works? They plant that one seed and you self-conscious. My brother got me self-conscious right now. Unbelievable. Um, so when I make these decisions, I think about, okay, did I get out what I put in, right? Did I reap was that when I made that decision about a particular thing, how do I feel? My intentions, what my intentions, he said talk that talk, my brother Hunter Wave King. Um, what were my intentions like, right? Did I complete the task? Did I complete the task? Was the agenda, whatever the agenda was, did I seek and did I tackle that with my best ability? So the things that help me do and assess whether I did a good job or not, I ask myself, is this in alignment of who I am and what I want to represent? Primarily, those are the questions I ask myself, because the question was posed, what do you do that helps you decide when something is right or if you did good? So the things I ask myself is, what I done today, does it stand in a space that's in alignment of what my morals are, my belief system, and how I want to be represented and how I want to show up and I want this to reflect? I ask myself those questions when I decide to do things. Is this morally sound? Is this more in alignment of what I want to represent and how I want to and how I want people to respond to me? Is this more in alignment of those things? That's how I decide on the things I want to get myself involved in. And when I ask myself these questions, when I'm going out there and I want to complete tasks, is this is this in alignment of what I want to represent morally and my belief system? Does this represent what I believe in? That's how I start to make decisions in my life. That's how I show up, and that's how I make the decisions in my life. I ask myself that question all the time. When I go and I decide to do a thing, when I put my time, my energy, my resources, I ask myself that question. Does this morally add up to what I want to represent? And I have so much clarity when I'm conflicted with things. We were talking about this not too long ago. Not too long ago, is that one of the places I find myself to be most, challenged is when I have indecision, when I'm indecisive, when I don't know, should I say yes, no, maybe so. That's the space where I find myself to be really, really challenged in. But I always live with whatever decision that I make. I'm comfortable with it. I heard something from Fabulous, right? And they were talking about this is in alignment about decision making. So the rapper Fabulous, right? He was saying that they asked him a question about his career, and they said, were there some deals that were on the table that you had picked up that you was like, man, I done a bad deal? And he said this, which was super, super profound. And I listen to what other people say, and if it makes sense to me, I apply it. If it doesn't, I let it fly. But I think this is one of the things about decision making that will help you move forward in your life and not really be too hard on yourself about making the wrong decision. If you think it's the wrong decision, you find out later on that it wasn't the best situation. But this is what Fabulous said, and I'm taking a page out of his book, and utilizing it in my own world, in my life, right? So Fabulous said there were deals that were done in the past that he looks at now and say, mm, maybe I could have done better. He said, but in that moment, when I say yes or I signed on a dotted line, no matter how good or how bad I feel the deal was today, in that moment, I had enough sense to sign on the dotted line because at that time I thought it was a good deal. And I was like, wow, that's super profound. What he's saying initially is that when you show up, whether you have all of the faculties, whether you have all of the information, whether you are left out of information, who knows, right? Sometimes we don't have all of the information to make a decision. So you make the decision best to your knowledge. I think that when you make decisions in your life, best to your knowledge, the best way that you can, I think you never lose. Even in the moment, or even later on down the line where you say, you know what, maybe I could have done better in that situation. But there's a saying that if you knew better, you would do better. So I think that what Fabulous was saying I'm taking a page out of his book is that when I make decisions, I I don't make decisions saying um I think this is not going to serve me at the highest level. I think that when I make a decision, I'm saying, to my knowledge, this is the best decision I can make at this very moment. And I'm able to live with that. And I think that is so, so powerful and profound. And I think that's a great way to approach things in your life, right? When you don't have all of the answers. I know that, people that are parents, everybody parent different. Every household got different rules, structures, different ways of seeing things based on their experiences, based on what they were taught, based on there's no right or wrong way to parent. You parent the best way that you know how. And I think that when you love your children, there are gonna be some times where um you may love them to a fault. And some people say, well, you can't clean up the mess when they're out of pocket, but who's to say what's good and what's bad? Every child is different. Every child is unique. Every parent is different. Every parent is unique. Every teaching style is different. Every teaching approach, there's a word called pedagogy, right? And it's a form of teaching, like in schools, right? Or whatever. It don't have to be in a school setting, but it's a way of teaching. So everybody, when it comes to curriculum, right, in school, and just using this as an example, right? Um, Everybody have a different way of teaching, and they consider it pedagogy. Whatever way that you approach a task, however you want to exert or emphasize, teach, learn, etc., that's up to your own discretion. That's up to your own discretion. Whatever your teaching method is, that's pretty much up to you. And how the people around you receive or repel to the information, that's subjective. That's opinionated. So I don't see there's a right or wrong way. There's certain things I agree with, and there's things that I disagree with, because sometimes certain things don't align with my moral compass, right? Brandon, what's up, loved one? Peace, God. Certain things just don't align with who I am and how I want to show up, and I want to uh let my message resonate. Certain things don't align with my own personal message. And there's certain things that does. And what I'm saying is that there are always going to be teaching methods what we learn, how we teach, how we communicate, all of these things are put into who we are, our genetic makeup, from the things that we learn, the things that we try, cause and effect, error. There are things that were happening back in the day. I know from my parenting. I know there was a it was kind of enforced in our community, right? In the community that I grew up in. If I done something wrong, the bad news would beat me home. What does that mean? That means that before my parents, before I get a chance to tell my parents, the neighbor already called them, the school already called them, their neighbor called them, another neighbor called them, a family member called them. The bad news already beat me home. So when I walked through that door, my mom already knew what was going on. So when I did something that was out of pocket, it, not only did my parent know, all of my whole community knew. My whole community knew that I was I was out of pocket. So what I'm saying is that um there's different things that we implement when it comes to how we do things. Sometimes they say it's not what you do, it's how you do it. And one thing that I'm learning about me and how I do things, I know that I'm a representation everywhere I go. I just don't only represent myself, I represent my loved ones, I represent my morals, I represent my beliefs, I represent my premise, I represent my purpose, I represent who I am as a person. So I make sure that my interactions and the things that I do, I know that in public, um, I love to treat people with respect, because that's something that I want to be primary in my life. I want respect to show up presently at all times. So I don't warrant disrespect. Somebody go out their way to disrespect me. Um, it really won't be because I'm the one that stepped out there on the limb trying to disrespect someone else. And unbeknownst to me, I may do something that may be disrespectful to somebody. Because, like I said, with that pedagogy thing, everybody got different rules, structures, belief systems. So what I do is I focus on, well, what do respect look like to me? How does respect show up in my life? What do I deem as something to be respectable? Okay, if there's something, or do I know the difference between respect and disrespect? Do I know the difference? Do I know how to communicate with other people? Am I able to listen? I know I talk a lot, but am I able to, you know, take in advice, even if I don't want to hear it in the moment? Can I be sound enough to have a sound judgment to listen? Even though, you know, we come in the society that we in, some people just listen, some people just want to respond, right? So they don't they have this thing going on right now, right? What I'm seeing on social media, TikTok, YouTube, etc. And there's a gentleman or a guy, girl, whatever, and they have a sequence of questions that they are asking people in the public, right? So they say something, if 7 years ago, if you were 5 years old, and if you whatever, however they structure it, right? Because I don't know how they do it, but if they say 7 years ago, if you were 5 years old, um the day after tomorrow, what would be today? So they saying a whole bunch of fluff, but most of the time people have um selective thinking. So their mind only is attracted to what stands out to them. And I think, Dariana, what's up, loved one? People are only attracted to what stands out to them. People got selective hearing. So people just want to hear what they want to hear, that they can align with. And I think that's one of the things that we all do. You know, we hear what we want to hear. Sometimes when we communicating and we're trying to deliver a message, sometimes we could be redundant in our approach, because we like, okay, do I just want to get something off my chest? Do I just want to be heard right now? Or do I have logic behind what I'm saying? Am I making sense? Did I take enough time to assess and process and think about things before I say them? Sometimes we just blurt out things, and things be like, wait, what what is he or she talking about? Because we want to be heard, and we feel like maybe our time is limited. So we rush things out. I know that's one of the things that I used to do, right? I used to feel like I took up a lot of other people's time, because when I spoke about things, I stuttered. Um, I felt like I'm an inconvenience, because maybe the things I was saying, I found it. Well, I was looking at the time as it not being of value, right? So I didn't value my own belief system. So I would try to overtalk, talk fast to hurry up and get out what I wanted to say, just so that I had that person's attention. And I didn't really understand until later on in my life that we all have something to say. I don't have to rush to get the things out. I can actually sit down, take my time, and be patient, because there are people that are willing to give me their time as well. Because in communication, we know it's a give and take. So other people that want to be heard, they understand that there are going to be times where they need to listen if they want other people to listen to them. So I started to learn that. But there was a point in time in my life where I felt like I had to just blurt out everything in 2 minutes. And I think this is some of the things of where I developed the habit of talking fast, right? And I associated me talking fast with having something valuable to say. That's how I communicated at that time. So what I learned to do over time is that, you know what, slow down a little bit. Think about what you're going to say. Sometimes I said things um just trying to get it out, not really making any sense because I didn't put no thought into what I had to say. And I learned over time, no, the ear that you give other people are willing to do the same thing. Make sure when I open my mouth and I want to say something, have something of value to speak about, right? Meaning that let your own words, the things that come out of your mouth, stand on it. Let it be of value. So now when you say things, you're a man or woman of your word. Your word is your bond. That's your oath. That's your pact. Then when you speak, people will be able to say, you know what? Although I may agree or disagree, I still can respect that person because you know there was thought put into what they said. And I think that is powerful, something that I had to learn along my journey because I felt like at points in times in my life, I didn't have value. I felt like when I spoke, I tried to speed everything out because I didn't know where the value was coming from, not knowing the whole time that, hey, I don't have to rush through the process. I'm a learning, growing in and growing out of type of individual. I'm being shaped and molded during my interactions with people. There are going to be causes, there are going to be effects, there are going to be things that I know, they're going to be things that I don't know, and that's okay. So if we put that onus on who we are and say, you know what, although I feel like the whole world disagree with me, if that's your perspective, you still can hold near and dear certain values close to you. And you can say, yo, although the world may not agree with this thing right here, I agree with this. And this is something that I want to be my truth. And you can act that out. You can live that out. You can preach that. You can act in accordance with that belief system. And there are going to be some people that are attracted to it. There are going to be some people that repel it. There are going to be some things that you may readjust. And in the near future, you'll be like, well, you know what? Although I had that belief then, I feel a little bit different now. And then now you can go out in the real world and test your theories and test your belief systems. And when it comes to decision making, like Lizzie was talking about earlier, I think when we do those self audits and we come back to self, we say to ourselves, well, how was my interactions today? When I came in contact with such and such person, or I was in such and such environment, was I living my truth? Or was I being somebody that's Mr. Agreeable because I fell in that category before? I felt like, okay, I had to agree with everybody, the cookie cutter, the microwavable responses. When everybody said yes by proxy, I lifted up my hand and agreed, even if I felt different in my heart, because I dared to be different because I want to be liked. So I didn't want to be different. So the way I interacted with people, I just go along to get along until I started to find my own voice, until I started to put trust in my own voice. Until I started to trust in the things that I spoke about, being a man of my word, putting onus on my belief system, challenging that. And no matter who I came in contact with, I was willing to stand firm no matter no matter what the other person approached me with, right? I still felt like, you know what, this is what I believe in. You know, something was so powerful that I learned too, right? I forgot who said it. And I forgot where I heard it from. it'll come to me because in the moment right now, my mind is just scattered, right? But um, they were saying something along the lines of how they used to win debates on debate teams, and he said that the guy, I think it was a guy, if I'm not mistaken, but when he said that he used to study the opposing points from the person that he's debating. So say we in debate about the sky being blue, and the other person said the sky is red, hypothetically, right? Hypothetical um statement that we're going to evaluate right now. Hypothetical, right? So he was saying, hey, if I'm in favor of the sky being red and the other person saying that the sky is blue, what are all the points from the person that's saying that the sky is blue from their perspective? What are they going to say about their truth? So I will remove myself from me being biased because I said the sky is red. I will actually go on the opposite end from their perspective and try to figure out all of the points that they will make in support of the sky being blue. And he said that when he did this, right, every time he went into a debate, he learned more about both sides, things that he normally would have been biased on because he thought of the sky just being red. And the only thing he wanted to support of the sky being red. So he said that when he put himself in the shoes of the other opposing opponent or person, he started to find out things that he would have been um uh uh things that he would have never found out about the things that supported the sky being blue. And he said that gave him so much leverage because not only did he know his perspective, he knew the other people's perspective as well. So when it came to debates, he knew which ways he can structure or format questions to put the other person in the cookie jar. And I thought that was a wonderful tactic, not just doing the debate, but I'm saying about life. Sometimes people say, I'm pro um I don't want to get too sensitive, right? But pro life, pro I don't say it like that either. Uh just the rights of women per se, right? And women would say, well, how can a man tell me what I should do with my body per se, right? Because I'm having a child and it should be up to me whether no matter what decision I make, it's the mother's decision. And that's a point. And then on the opposite end, it would say, well, it takes two to tango because we know that a woman can't get pregnant by herself. You still need the presence of a seed to impede the egg in order to give life in to um um bring life into the world. So all I'm saying is that I would take myself and not just try to be one-sided. I would try to put myself in another person's position and to see what are the points of contention. What are the things that they in support of? What are the things that they disagree with? Why do they feel the way they feel? And I think that it gives life. I think it gives you a perspective. It gives you a heightened perspective about the things that you may feel strongly about or you may not feel strongly about. I think it gives a wonderful balance to how you see the world. And I think that's I think is a James. What's up, loved one? Peace, chant. I think it's just a beautiful thing just to see things from that perspective. Somebody may agree, they may disagree, but that's your own perspective. And I think that's the beauty in being able to make decisions in your life because we know there's some things that may be in favor of you for right now, the time, the space, the environment. It may work. And then, it may not have worked 10 years ago. And 10 years from now, depending on the level of technology that's introduced. We know we have AI situations going on. We know that around the world. My cousin sent me a article, and it showed. I think it was Tyson's, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was Tyson's Chicken or something like that. But overall, there were 3,000 jobs lost due to replacement of AI, artificial intelligence. So we can say that this day and age, technology is bad, but then we also see people with new innovative ways to go in the operating room and do surgeries that's more precise than the hand of a personnel. But then we also can say that the logic that we deal with the regular human being and having levels of empathy, how do we expect a machine to have empathy? Because we know that the sequences of the codes that's embedded into the programming, the AI is just reading out the codes repetitively, and it's just operating from that standpoint. But then we tell people that, you know what, how do we make decisions in the world when we have to apply humans, when it's human on human? All right, we could take a person's situation or circumstance and say, you know, I could possibly feel what that person may be going through, right? Just using this as a hypothetical. We say nobody is supposed to take anything from nobody, from nobody, right? But you see a mother that goes into a grocery store, has no support, no help. You watch their story, et cetera, et cetera. We know stealing is bad, right? Stealing is bad. But tell that to a mother that have no way to feed their child, and they should need formula. So they took a risk on getting formula to feed their baby. So how do we tell a machine that's supposed to make the decision that's black and white? How are we supposed to allow the machine to say, have empathy for that mother? Or should you not? That's what I mean by being able to put yourself in different spaces and different shoes and being able to come up with some level of heightened perspective, right? By looking at life not only from the seat that you sit in, but from somebody else's seat. I think it's a beautiful balance that you give to the world that you want to live in, because now you have levels of empathy that most people won't have. Because you know sometimes we may be dealing with a lot of self-centeredness, right? A lot of cynical perspectives, things that's where it's only me, my, me, and I'm not worried about the world. It's only about me. Until there's a time in a position where you may need the calling or help or assistance from somebody else of the world, right? I've seen this I see this a lot of times where we're so desensitized in the streets. Somebody can be in dire need of something, or they down and out, they bleeding, they hurting, they need 911 called. And the first thing that we do is pull out our phones to record the situation. If we hear sirens and police cars, etc., and the first thing we do is looking for where's it coming from, what direction. Let me pull out the phone to record it because I want to get some hits or likes on my Instagram. I see that a dozen of times, right? And I say to myself, well, where does the level of empathy come into play? Because now it's not really about the people; it's about me continuously. Just me and mine. I'm not worried about what's going on in the world until you part of the world and you may need assistance from somebody that's riding down in the street in the ambulance, right, on the ambulance, and they coming to assist you. But if you say I don't care about nobody, should the same person in that ambulance truck care about you when you in need? So these are the things what I'm saying that can allow us to enhance our decision making. And it's all about self audits. Check it in with yourself. How was your actions and your interactions today? Who did you come in contact with? What space did you occupy? You know, I find myself being a little bit short tempered today. What you mean? Because every time somebody looked at me, I'm staring as if I want to stare through their soul. Why am I doing that? Why am I face fighting? Why am I gave this scenario a while back. There was a young gentleman. I'm getting out of my car, parked my car in the garage, and there was a young man, a young black man, looked like me, taller, bigger, more just a big kid, right? And it's a unwritten rule. It's no rule, right? But normally, when you're on the right hand side, you stay to the right while you walk. It's just like no matter which direction you're going in, if you just stay to the right normally in walking, most people play that side of walking. So there's no rule to say that you can't walk on the left side of any or any sidewalk, right? But long story short, I'm on the right side walking down, and the other gentleman, the young kid, was walking on the same thing. And we both are walking and we are approaching each other, and none of us, neither myself nor the other kid, wanted to move. And I'm saying to myself, we look like we were challenging one another. So I'm saying to myself, where my psyche was I too prideful to move out the way? Now I eventually did, right? But I'm saying to myself, before I got approached with the young kid, in my mind, I'm like, I'm not moving. Now I'm supposed to be more mature, right? And I'm saying to myself, why am I seeking this challenge? Where my psyche feel like I had to challenge somebody that looked just like me? Where does that come from? And I had to check with myself. So I said to myself that day when he's walking past, before we got to each other, I said, "What's good, my boy?" I said, "Everything is good." He smiled. I smiled. We went about our business, right? And I said, the power of communication, not walking with this chip on my shoulder. And I'm like, well, where's this coming from? Why do I do this? I've done that for a long time in my life. And there are various times where I catch myself, not saying that I'm not human, but I'm saying that my awareness, I'm way more aware. But in general, I want to get to a point where I'm not looking at people like that all the time. Right. Definitely people that look like me, people that don't look like me. Why am I seeking challenges all the time? Like I'm ready for a duel. So I say to myself, when I do those self check-ins and I do those self audits, I say to myself, well, how was that interaction with that young man? Was I leading morally, with my better and greater good, with my intentions, Did I it was that interaction more in alignment of how I want to live out my purpose? And I think to myself, you know what, I could do better. I could do better. So now when I make my decisions for the future, I want to be more conscious of that. So now the next time I'm approaching and I'm going the next day, I make sure, you know what, be a little bit easy, be a little bit. I don't got to be timid. I don't got to be soft. But I'm saying that my approach don't have to be so aggressive to where I'm looking like I want to challenge everybody that come into my space. So then I learned that. And then I know over time, I said, I want to be more like this because this is more in alignment of who I want to be with respect. How can I go out in the world and me mug if I say that my brand, who I represent, what I am, is based and geared around respect? But I'm walking around disrespecting people, me mugging, looking for a duel. How is that respect? It's not in alignment of who I want to be. My cousin Keno in the building, what's up, family? I love you unconditionally. I love you, cuzzo. So yeah, these are the things I think about. These are the things that I just check in with myself with. And this is what I'm saying. When you have those trusted advisors, when you have people around you that are able to help point out some of the things, I think that's the beauty. But if you have nobody and you say, you know what, I have to do this on my own, how do you check in with self? And I think that you'll be able to make more sound decisions and learn as you go when you start doing that with oneself. You can say, you know what, well, how did I show up today? Did I show up the best version of myself? Where were some of my blind spots? Can I pinpoint some of my own blind spots? Did I see things? How can I see things not being in the moment but outside of the moment? How am I reacting, responding? Did I show up the best version of myself? Was I a little edgy today? Why? Where was my mental at? Am I stable right now? Or today I had pleasurable experience. Today I took, you know, I counted the blessings. I woke up and said, you know what? There are things going on in the world that can be uh intensified. So I don't need to be as edgy. Or I can just say, you know what? I have life, I have air in my lungs, I'm breathing. Because we know there's some other individuals that didn't wake up. And I know that because I gave nothing but respect in the beginning of this podcast to two loved ones that impacted me in my life that are not here today. Within the last past 2 weeks, I went to another realm, but I also was able to celebrate another life, which was my cousin Amanda. So what I'm saying, that the duality of life, there's always a balance, and being aware of being able to celebrate when it's time to celebrate, being able to mourn when the time is mourn, being able to be of the thing that you want to represent, be of the thing you want to represent. So what I'm saying is that are things in alignment of who I want to be? Is how I look at life? Is that in alignment of what I want to show up as? Is that in my purpose? Is that in my calling? Do I want to show up and be somebody um that has logic, has voice of reason, being able to think? Can I think? Can I outthink my problems? Am I somebody that's can I be coachable? Meaning that can somebody actually coach me? Am I above the experiences and the expertise of somebody that went down this path before? Am I that naive or am I that too hard-headed to listen to the experience of somebody have gone through the thing already? Because sometimes we don't have to go through it. We can learn from other people's trials and tribulations. And these are the smart people. They say, um, uh, part of insanity is doing the same thing, expecting a different result. So when we talk about change in our lives, we got to be willing to accept change. We got to be able to be willing to be coached. We also got to be willing to show up and share our experiences in order to get sound judgment from some of the people that may, you know, be our trusted advisors, the ones that's trying to guide us on the right path because we know they love us and they care about us. So maybe we have to, okay, although I don't have a financial advisor, quote unquote, right? But I'm listening to someone tell me on how to manage my money, and I'm looking at not just studying their background, but I say, well, how do they handle finances? Are they good with theirs? And and if I can say, well, you know what, it seems like they manage theirs well, theirs well. If they manage their money well, or if they haven't, maybe they could tell me their pitfalls. They say, "You listen, man, I've done some things with the money in my finances that led me down this path of, trying to rebuild and get my life back in order." So if you can avoid some of these things, I think it's best, you can just, be aware that they exist. And I think that's the beauty of being able to learn what to do and what not to do. Some people's stories, you can take not just what they excelled in, but where they failed at, so we can learn from the failure. And I think that's one of the best teachers. You can learn from the failure that you have, you know, um, experienced in your own life, because everything is a cause and effect. That's how you get the perfection. It's a prerequisite to get perfection. Failure is part of that. You have to do a thing to get a response. And sometimes we don't, we equate the responses or the outcome as something to be of value, whether you failed or succeeded in that moment. And I think that um we don't have to do it like that. We can just say, you know what, hey, I did this thing, this was the outcome. Now, if I do this next thing, there's going to be an outcome. And then you just keep doing it, repeating the process and seeing what works and what doesn't work. And now you start figuring things out for your own life to say, you know what? Hey, I have a plethora of data that I can go by. I have my own shared experiences. I've seen what that person have gone through. I know what not to do in that situation because I've seen when they made that decision, it led them to X, Y, and Z. Or for myself, okay, I know when I did this thing, when I was popping bottles in the club and going crazy, and then I know that my finances was affected. So I say, you know what, instead of me spending the money there, what are some of the other things that I say that I want for my life? How can I turn out? If I want to be homeowner, I want to get this, I want to do that. I know that there has to be a bucket of where I got to be more financially astute. I have to be more financially responsible. So that means that I had to live below my means. I can't go out there and ball every night because we know there are days that's going to rain. So what I'm saying is that not just being a person that experienced it, but I've seen some of the highs and lows of other individuals. And I had conversations from people that love me enough too to tell me their truth. They say, hey, although it was a high right here, I also felt low because I did some irresponsible things. And I think this is where we can learn from ourselves and other people. We can become better decision makers by assessing and doing those self audits with oneself and just learning from our environment, learning from what's going on around us. I think those are the smartest people that you can say, you know what, hey, I've done this before, it worked out, I'm gonna continue the process. I did this before, it didn't work out, I'm going to avoid that. And simply just making sound decisions based on the experiences. Although we know that nothing is guaranteed, you can do all of the right things, and sometimes the cards don't fall the way we intended to fall. But if I show up every day and say, you know what, I gave it 110% my best effort, I'd rather do that every day than give 50% and just say, you know, it's always a 50-50 chance. Yeah, but the probability of you making it to that next phase of the thing, you will want to make more sound and more higher quality decisions, having more prudence, being more wisdom, having more wisdom, being more prudent, right? And I think that the more and more that we able to, you know, pick ourselves up in that capacity, there's so many wonders that will come from it. Although, like we said, nothing is guaranteed, but I think you give yourself the best shot at life when when you give it your all, when you give it your best, because there are going to be things that's going to happen for you when you the probability of you having a more favorable outcome, even though we don't assign levels of difficulty to things, because we know that um we know that nothing is guaranteed, but I would much rather give 110% effort than give 50 and say, it's always a 50-50. You're right. But then the outcome of my decisions is going to be affected because I say, you know what? I can go to the gym today and not go to the gym today. If I do 50-50 every day, maybe not, maybe not. I know that the results that I seek aren't in the 50-50 decision making. The results that I see in my life is more on the 110% doing the thing more often than not. It's the volume of things, how many times you do a thing, the repetition. Because once we do know this, there's levels of tolerance to everything that we do. So although the results may not change immediately, the results may not change 10 times from now. The results may not change 20 times from now. The results may not change 100 times from now. What I do know though is that the more I do a thing, the more I'm able to build up tolerance. And that's where real strength comes in. So I know in due time, there's going to be a time where there's going to be something that pops up on my table, opportunity, something that I'm going to be aware of that I would never be aware of because I always done the thing 50-50, half the time. Maybe not. When I put myself on the up and up of doing the thing more often than not, I started to surprise myself. Even when it came to my exercise and my growth, I started to have my personal best. I started exceeding beyond the measures of what I couldn't even fathom. And in life is like that. No matter what field you in, no matter what lane that you choose to occupy, I think there's so many things that you can grow and learn when you start putting in that same putting in the work that or putting in the effort that you just giving your best. I think there's so many wonderful things that you will learn and find out about yourself when you actually put in the work and put in the effort. We'll start to realize that some of these things isn't as hard as we thought them to be because initially before we started, we assigned a level of difficulty to it. We already assigned a level of difficulty to it. So when Sean Candle says start before you're ready, I understand that now. Before I was so afraid to jump in the water. I was doomed before I start because I never had the intentions on just starting. And I think that's the things that slow up ourselves in the world that we live in today. Most of us are afraid to start, right? We are afraid because we thinking about the judgment. We thinking about what other people may say. We don't have that trust within our own selves to feel like we can go out there and be accomplished because we heard all of the no's, or we heard all of the no's that we told ourselves. How many times we said we're gonna do a thing and never showed up for it. So sometimes those things get discouraging. Those things get discouraging. But what I'm saying is that we can rewrite those stories. We can start approaching it from a different perspective. And I think that's the beauty of you. Each and every one of us, we have the ability to do things that we can't even fathom. But it starts with doing, acting, doing, being the personnel that's actionary, taking action. I think it's so powerful because you'll be amazed at some of the things that um you'll you'll be amazed at your abilities and the tolerance and how much you can build yourself up to be equipped to become the person to do the thing. A lot of times we're incapable because we don't build ourselves up to become the person. And the way you become the person is by doing the thing. And we miss out on doing the thing. Yes, we have LeBron Jameses of the world. We have the Steph Currys of the world, but look at them. Look at them. Steph Curry is not the height and stature as LeBron James, but they are both equally effective in the game of basketball because what they did do is They found out what they were good at, and they did the same things, and over and over again. They utilized what they had, and they perfected their craft, and they did it over and over and over and over again, and they built up a level of tolerance that's different than most people that have the talent. It's a combination of being talented but working the talent. So you are gifted at a thing, but how often are you working your gift? This holiday season, if you don't receive a gift from nobody, you are the gift. Only thing that you have to do is work your gift. Work your gift. And that's going to be the best present out of all seasons. When Christmas and the holidays and all these things come around next year, you will be like, well, where's the gift at? You already the gift. How well are you working that gift? And you got to put yourself in that space of saying, you know what? If nobody gave me anything, you already good, but you can be refined, you can be reworked, you can build up your tolerance, you can be that much better. Stuart, what's up, Stuart? Stuart in the building. You could be that much better and look at yourself as as the gift and the prize, and you'll be amazed at what you can accomplish. You'll be amazed at what you can accomplish. Man, today is Christmas Eve. I know people at home with their loved ones and family members. I just wanted to show up because I felt compelled to. And I also want to build up my levels of tolerance. So every week I'm seeking challenges, right? No matter what's going on in the world, I want to be somebody to be a man of my word. And I want to be able to show up. I want to be able to build up trust, know, like, and trust. I want to be able to be somebody that's qualified because I want to see myself as a qualified person before the world wanted to accept me as a qualified person. I want to show up as a qualified person, being disciplined, being dedicated, being truthful, being truthfulness, living in my truth, my truth, exercising my gift, being the person and being making sure that I'm in alignment of who I say I want to be, and making sure every day that I do my best and give 110%, 110% effort. I'm doing things from an act of obedience, not an act of sacrifice perspective. So I know that in due time, when the climate change, when people change, when the environment change, am I able to show up? I want to be able to convince myself that that is guaranteed because I'm gonna show up for me every day. And then after that, when I'm able to show up for other people, it'll be that much easier because I'm already showing up for me. And that's where I know where I want to be at. And I know that if you show up every day for you, it's without a shadow of doubt, without a shadow of a doubt that you can show up for other people, and people will put they know, they like, and they trust within you because you're already that gift. Only thing that you need to do is just keep refining it. Just keep refining it, keep working, keep exercising your gift because everybody here is gifted. A lot of people may not work their gift, and that's up to their own discretion. But you have opportunity to work it every day. And I hope I could do my part in champion. I say these things every time. Champion you, and champion you to maximize your own potential. If there's things that I can assist with, if there's things that you can apply from what I'm speaking about, apply it. If there's things that doesn't apply from what I'm talking about, let it fly. You can say, you know what? There's some things that I learned from Johnny that I'm going to put in my bag of tricks. I'm gonna tear a page out the book and I'm gonna utilize that. And there gonna be some things, you know what? That's what I don't want to do. So I'm going to crumble that up and I'm gonna throw that out with the trash, and you're entitled to do so. Only thing I want to do is just be a testament to someone that we can use as a measuring stick, right? Someone that you can say, you know what, there's some things that may attract, and there's some things that may repel. But ultimately, I could utilize the conversations that we have. I can utilize the platform. I meaning you. You can utilize the platform, utilize our testimonies, use our truths, use our conversations, use our dialogue, utilize the time because I'm going to make sure that I don't waste it when I come up here. So I'm doing the best of my ability to make sure that I don't waste the time. of anybody else that come here, whether they see it now, whether they see it in the future. And I want to make sure that I do my part. And that's the only thing that um I can do is just show up the best version of myself. Every day I'm seeking to challenge myself in that way, in that capacity. So I have the level of tolerance. So when I do show up, I have something to say, something to offer, something of value, because I want to be able to create that every day. So that's my point of contention. That's why I'm here. That's why I enjoy these conversations. I am blessed. I'm appreciative. And it's all through you. You guys show up, and this is why I'm able to show up, because you guys uh show up for yourselves first, and then you don't even know the power that you give me, in the sense of allowing me to feed off that, feed off your energy. You give me the energy, and this is what allows me to be more in my purpose, because I know that without the people, I'm not able to do what I need to do. So you guys allow and assist me to be more in alignment to what my purpose is. And I thank you. I appreciate you. I love you unconditionally. I know you love yourselves more. Make sure that you do that. If you have opportunity to connect and show up the best version of yourself, I champion you along that journey, and I can't wait to see for what the future holds for yourself and the people that you come in contact with, because I know that when people see you, is going to be nothing but a pleasurable experience. And I thank you. We have a comment for Lizzie. Lizzie says, Feliz Navidad, everyone. It's been nothing but a pleasurable experience today. I'm happy, I'm joyful. And remember, during this holiday season, you are the gift. You are the gift. Love yourself. Love yourself some more. And never stop loving yourself. I will see us next week. And same bad time. Even though today's Wednesday, we normally do Thursday. Next week we may do Wednesday again, but we guaranteed to show up. So if we don't come on live on Thursday, I will announce that, and we will be live on Wednesday or sometime during the week. But I would give a heads up. Until then, finish enjoying your night. Continuously go out there and work your magic. Understand and know that you are the gift. We are out of here. Respectfully.